Good evening, everybody. Okay, as we can see, the Dow's been in a nice uptrend. Just have to be careful of this and or this. On the other hand, the S&P 500 still looks like it's got some more upside. The transportation index is doing a nice J-hook pattern, and the NASDAQ also kind of sitting here in this wedge. See if I can draw a wedge. Oh, pshaw. Well, this is not working well. Well, for crying out loud. Anyways, kind of a wedge, but you can see it's moving sideways. So essentially, now this is doing this again. How come that is happening? Huh. So basically, we're not seeing any real rampant selling, and that gives a lot of the good bullish charts an opportunity to continue. Crude oil, as you can see, has been trading, drifting lower. See what gold has been doing. Gold is trying to rebound finally. Have to see if they can get this back up above the T-line after a long-legged doji, inverted hammer, bullish confirmation. But gold might be viable. Everything else, soybeans just kind of waffling at this point. All right, so some of the ones that we've been trading are working well. Crone, for example, after the kicker signal. There's something wrong here. I can't figure out what this is doing. If I do that, why am I getting... I don't know what is... I don't know what's happening here. If I put my cursor on here, creating this vertical line, and I don't know what... Well, at least that stops it. Yeah, and it does that. Well. This makes you want to kick your grandmother. All right. So Crone, after the kicker signal, has been moving up nicely. We've got a few steady eddies that are still working. Something is drastically wrong here tonight. I can't put my cursor on that, but as you can see, has a nice steady eddy move. Same thing with MNK, nice steady eddy, and VSI, also a nice steady eddy. We recommended E-Link today because notice the doji sandwich, Morningstar type signal, that if it opened positive with a doji sandwich, it would be breaking out through this area. I don't know if it's in draw mode or not. It's right here. I don't know why it's on. I don't know what's happening here. Ow. So the reason we were recommending it was if it had opened positive with the same magnitude candle as this, that tells us we were breaking out into wave 3. And it's just right here. I don't know what. Oh well. All right. Spend all night trying to figure it out. What I'll do, I will bring this one over. All right, now we don't have that problem. That's right. So YEXT, Y-E-X-T, also working nicely as a steady eddy. And our DNLI we're still holding, because once it came up through the 50, notice what it did today. It came right back down to the 50 and the T line to use it as support. You could be buying this one on positive trading tomorrow. PAW, also acting well. This is your classic fry pan bottom, J-hook pattern. If this opens positive, you can anticipate a move about the same magnitude. FedEx has been working well. Another one where we kind of anticipate that it's going to come back up to the top of the channel, which is up in this area. So ever since it did a doji gap up, starting the next wave, and notice where that next wave started, right off the 50-day moving average. So again, that's where you kind of observe the obvious, that that's where everybody was buying, was on that major support level. We recommended ITT based upon the classic fry pan bottom J-hook pattern. You can still be buying this one on positive trading tomorrow with your doji sandwich taking you up pretty close to the breakout area. And Monster.com needs to break out through this area. So if it opens lower tomorrow, would close out the position, because that means it's coming back down to the T line and not breaking out. What we're looking for is a positive open and a breakout through that level. And IDRA did exactly what you would expect it to do. When it got up here to the 50 and started selling off, somebody said they stopped out when it hit the T line, went through the T line. But then you watch it, and if it starts coming back up through the T line, you can buy it back, because if it's heading in this direction, more than likely they're going to close it back up above the T line. Can't see the stochastic. You're right. There we go. So you can still be a buyer of this one, especially if it comes back up through the 50. All right, some of the biggies weren't real strong today. Netflix was strong today. Big bullish engulfing. But here's the one thing that you want to kind of always keep in the back of your mind. Notice where this one resisted today, at the T line. And what you always have to remember is that very, very, very few people have the T line on their chart. So it's not like that was a target. That's just kind of a natural resistance level. But you do have a left-right combo in the oversold area. This one, Netflix, you can be buying on positive trading tomorrow. Tesla has been whipping around with Musk being in the news as often as he is. So you have kind of a belt hold signal, but you're not well in the oversold area. But the belt hold signal occurred right here when it bottomed out before. Now, somebody came out and said that their next target is 195. So if you're short, what you really want to see tomorrow is it opening lower. If it opens positive, at least you know there's probably going to be a bounce. You close out your short position and be ready to come back in on the next selling. Amazon, still kind of lethargic, trying to hold on to the T-line area. And Apple has been acting well, but today it sold off. But notice where it sold off, right back to the 3T line. But you should have a wave 1, wave 2, wave 3, I would think, based upon this move right here. You're probably still heading up into about this area. NVIDIA started whipping around, and notice where it was whipping around. Not anything decisive. The Stochastic's not decisive, but you're right here at this support area. Probably something you can't really trade. Something you can't really trade right now. And Nugget has been trying to base in here. Be ready to buy this one on a pop back up to the T-line. And that's probably a function of where we saw gold was acting well today. Labu still kind of drifting. You stay short on this one. All right. All right, our ENLK was based upon this doji sandwich potential. So that's the big advantage of being able to recognize what type of pattern you might have setting up and knowing that it's going to be further confirmed by an actual signal, like a doji sandwich. That same scenario we illustrated today in the newsletter, Home Depot did a doji sandwich right here off the T-line. This candle and this candle about the same, took you up to the 50. So even if you were day trading this one, or option trading, day trading, at least you know where your upside target might be. Teva, another one. There's a breakout with a doji sandwich. So just the mechanics of a doji sandwich may give you a high probability trade setups. Oops, what was that? I'm sure that's what I wrote. No, that one's not coming up. Well, Shawsbots. EPDF. Ah, that's what the problem is. So look what happened right here. You've got a doji sitting right on the T-line after a big price move. If it opens positive, what's it telling you? Probably going to move positive. Probably telling you got a doji sandwich, and it's telling you the 50-day moving average isn't acting as a resistance. So it makes for an excellent trade setup. Now here's a case where your message gapped it up, pulled it back. The message was that they really wanted to get into this. There was profit taking. The profit taking was over. Same scenario on PetQ. Anytime you see this situation, watch to see when the profit taking is over. The T-line is the 8 exponential moving average. The blue line is the 50-day simple moving average. The red line is your 200 days simple moving average. And this gray line is the 34 EMA, which works relatively effectively. CVRR, little left-right combo gap up. I would suspect now you're heading for the 50-day moving average. HMI. Look at your kind of, this is what we call your bullish flutter kicker. But if it opens positive, they're breaking out of this pattern. And let's see if this pattern is kind of a fry pan bottom. So positive trading from here would give you some more upside. Oh, did I do that? All right, that was my fault. And ASYS, you can see what's setting up. There's your handle. There's your scoop. Get ready for a slingshot effect. So you've got a little morning star signal, bullish confirmation coming up through the T-line. You can be buying this one. If it comes up to this area, just make sure it gets through. But notice how the 50-day moving average is going to kind of coincide with the handle. If it gets through both of those, you know you've got a strong scoop pattern breakout. WABA. There's your abandoned baby. How do we get all these lines on here? There's your abandoned baby. There's kind of your scoop pattern. Expect more slingshot effect to the upside. NVTA, another example of a nice steady eddy, starting with your doji off the 50 through the T-line, 45 degree. You just stay long on this. Anytime you see this situation, kind of expect this type of situation. Joe, just hang on to your individual picks. When I tell Jim to do the double line, then everybody can type in a symbol that they want to see. Here, little doji gap up. Expect the uptrend to continue. Now, this is a case where if this is your trend, there's a strong likelihood that this would move up very quickly to get back into that trend. And I couldn't even say the name of this one. Billy. Get ready to buy this one. See the little scoop pattern? Hammer, doji. A bullish confirmation would probably at least take you back up to this level and then see if it can break through the 50. Cassie. There's your fry pan bottom. There's kind of your cup and handle. You can be buying this one on positive trading as long as it stays above the T-line, because anytime you're with that or in that fry pan bottom, you can stay long with a very simple rule. Just stay long as it stays above the T-line. Morningstar signal on WTI. Look for positive trading from here. TCMD, there's your J-hook pattern. Expect more upside. And you can also see how it kind of broke out through this level. Not only broke out, but gapped up through that level, telling you that was not going to be acting as a resistance level anymore. Another J-hook pattern on NSTG. This one can be bought on positive trading based upon the ELVT. Little gap up and a fry pan bottom. I would suspect maybe a wave 3 in progress. And Nordstrom's. Notice the best friend signal, and what do we expect? 45 degree off of here. Lulu, I've got marked down as being an option trade tomorrow. Notice where it broke out. Right through this level with a J-hook pattern. I would suspect you could, let me see what the previous trend was before the consolidation. Looks big, steady uptrend. So now you've consolidated. Wouldn't be, where the heck do all these lines come from? Wouldn't be surprised to see it head at least up in this area. Another, this one we're probably going to be looking at in the options room tomorrow. Retta, little scoop type pattern. You ready to buy this one? Notice how it's kind of broken this little downtrend. And CVI, another one that's probably got the prospect of coming back up, especially if it opens positive. You got kind of a doji sandwich here. If it opens positive, it's telling you the 50-day moving average is not going to act as resistance, making at least this area your next target. And SCVL. SCVL, there we go. There's your fry pan bottom on this one. Another one that can be bought on positive trading. So if I go through and I get done and I have some good picks, one of my basic scans is just finding stocks with the biggest % price move today. When I go down through that list, usually within the first 20 or 30 stocks, I'm going to find 5, 6, 7 that are excellent excellent picks. But then I go to my scan, the kicker scan, which usually will find some good ones. They may not necessarily be a kicker signal, but notice what we have here on HMI, a potential flutter kicker signal. Notice how it opened here and closed here, gapped up above the open and did a doji. And now it just becomes very simple. If it opens positive tomorrow, it's going to trade positive, giving us a strong flutter kicker type signal. Another one that was found on that scan was FTR. This is your technically a kicker signal, but more realistically just a doji kind of J-hook pattern breakout. So that's still a good looking chart. And ICHR is kind of your long-legged doji, bullish gap up, another J-hook pattern that could potentially take you up to wave 3 up here to the 200, wave 1, wave 2, wave 3. So it is very easy to do your scans with candlestick charts or candlestick scanning techniques. So if we look at or analyze a chart that looks like this, we recommended this stock today because notice your series of dojis is a gap up the scan for a kicker. Now there's basically just a kicker scan. Doesn't necessarily mean it's a scan. I mean, you'll find the gap ups, kickers on your gap up scans. You just won't necessarily find gap ups on your kicker scan. So notice this chart. We recommended this one today on positive trading because it had broken out of this series of dojis. Notice what it did today was a doji. So what makes this a strong buy on a positive open is a doji sandwich breaking out of a flat series of dojis, opens positive and trades positive. Where do you think the next target's going to be? There's a gap right here at the 34, so that becomes your first target. So once again, knowing what should happen on each one of these signals or pattern breakouts are that much more enhanced by knowing what each signal tells you and how that kind of confirms the pattern. So that's about all I got tonight. The markets are just, this is why I was saying that if you had, where is May? If you sold in May and gone away, you missed out on a lot of opportunities. I watched Mark Sachs' webinar earlier this evening. I believe you had promoted him last week. Marshall, I don't know. I know Pat does all the scrutinizing, so they've usually got some good credibility based upon other people in the industry. And so that's why I put other people in our in here, is that if you're not connecting on to candlesticks, but you understand that they work, that maybe somebody else's trading program is something you'll latch on to better, but you still overlay it with candlesticks, and it just improves your analysis. CGC is a pot stock. CB, I don't know how long-term the prospects are for some of these stocks, but obviously somebody is liking it. Whoops, fairly new offering. So the fact that they gapped it up out of this fry pan bottom tells you there's probably more upside. So has anybody else used Mark Sachs' information? And was that Mark that we had on the other night? I thought it was. I think we had Oliver. We had Oliver Smallholtz on last Thursday. Okay, it couldn't have been this evening because that was me this evening. Okay, so Reggie, gap up in the overbought. I'm guessing you're asking. Yes. So you're in an uptrend. You're in the overbought area. You're starting to move away from the T line. Where is your safety stop? At today's open, it shouldn't come back down through that level. Marshall, if Pat had him on the schedule, I didn't see it. Okay, I need general questions on candlesticks. If not, Jim, go ahead and do the double line. And in 3.8 seconds, do the next double line. Axel, you can be buying this one on positive trading. You want to see it break out through this level. And is this JetBlue? You can be buying this one. All the airlines seem to be acting well right now. Ruth Chris Steakhouse. Speaking of Ruth, I thought I heard on the radio driving back from the lake on Saturday that who was it that passed away? Was it Aretha Franklin that died this past week, which was on the same day that Elvis Presley died, which was on the same day that Babe Ruth died. So Ruth's Hospitality. I thought that was Ruth's Chris Steakhouse. You can stay long as it stays above the T line. Fluor, gapped up. If you're buying on positive trading tomorrow, don't let it close back below today's low. Probably wouldn't even want to see it trade back below today's low. LIVN, just stay long. That's got a little mini scoop pattern. You can buy this one on positive trading tomorrow. And NRV, oops, see if I have to do it this way. NRZ. Ugh. You can buy this one. It's still got to get through this resistance level. XLI. Notice a little kicker type signal here. Got a kicker signal? I can't tell. No, that's a hammer gap up. So you can stay long on this one. You need to see it break out through this level. TNXP. Oh, boy, that's nothing yet. If I was going to be a buyer, it'd be a buyer above this level, telling me they've broken out. Just make sure on something like this, your volume is pretty hefty. JNUG may be picking up some steam because of the gold picking up. Positive open tomorrow, you figure your first target is back up to the T-line. Frontline trucking. Another one that if you're long, it better open positive tomorrow and trade positive. If it opens lower, you're still stuck in this downtrending channel. Johnson & Johnson. I thought I saw them in the news today. That's a nice breakout. Notice your inverted hammer, bullish confirmation, gap up through this level. You stay long, figuring wave 1, wave 3 probably still has another 3 or 4 points to the upside. Ford is down in the 950 area, 972. You can look to buy this one. Just be aware that it's got to break this downtrending channel. So if you see it run out of steam at that resistance level, close it back out. Valero, nothing yet. At this point, you don't have any real reversal signal, so I definitely want to see it get up above this level before going after it. And JD.com, another one that if you were short, you would have covered your short position. You don't go long until it does get up above the T-line. Steinmart, that's a toughie, but make sure your volume is good. You can be buying this one, especially if it comes up through this level. Notice the Morningstar type signal off the T-line. And Northern Oil, another one you can be buying. Again, there's your hammer, bullish engulfing. You can buy this one. Just watch to see what it does when it gets to the 50. MLNT, Morningstar signal. You buy this one, but also be aware that it needs to break this downtrending channel. NetEase, positive open. It's going to take you up to the T-line. You should definitely be out of any short. Remember, when you see a gap down in the oversold area, you start looking for buy signals. BSI, where should we place our stop? I would probably put it any trading below the low of that doji. That would tell you the bears have taken control. Goog, trying to bottom. If you're short, I would use today's high as a stop. It shouldn't come back up through that level. And Snap, stay short. C's, this one, if it doesn't open positive, you should come out of it. You can see that there's no upside to it anymore. So at this point, if it opened lower, I'd close it out. You can always buy it back on the next buy signal that breaks this congestion area. Soda, I think, was a buyout, right? Yep, so there's not too much you can do with that anymore. CMCM, I was going to recommend that the other day and pick some others, but you can see the left-right combo, bullish confirmation, gap up. I would suspect the next target is filling the gap here at the 200-day moving average. And BIDU, you can buy this one on positive trading, then you use the T-line as your stop. Micron, another one that if it opens positive, it's coming up at least to test the T-line. Wouldn't necessarily be a buyer just yet, unless you're trading for a quick trade. But I would definitely be out of any short positions. American, another one that can be bought. All the airlines are doing well. Is the Delta doing well? Southwest still moving up under the steady eddy. Deere, nothing here yet. You have a big left-right combo. You can see that it's having trouble getting through the 50. I would rather buy it after it gets through the 50. AMD, just a steady eddy. If you're long, you just stay long. I wouldn't necessarily be a buyer up here, but I wouldn't sell it if I owned it. And Citigroup, another one that's more than likely going to come back up now. Notice a little kicker type signal. I say type signal because it didn't actually open above the open of the previous day, but it's giving you the indication that it's probably going to at least bounce back up to fill this gap at the 200. How did I skip? Way down there. All right. Forgot Win. Win, that was where you covered your short position because of the bullish Harami Doji. And if you were thinking of buying, now you get ready to buy on positive trading. There's a gap to fill here and another gap to fill here. Macy's has come back up, but I wouldn't be a buyer just yet. You do have a Morningstar signal. I'd rather pay for it if it comes up through the 50-day moving average. AAOI, nothing. Wouldn't be long or short. There's nothing here to get your teeth into. And PCAR, that one you stay long. See the slow curve, there was your inverted hammer, there was your hammer. It didn't resist at the 200 and you still got juice left in your stochastics. I would suspect there's more upside on this one. Zynga. Another one that I would probably have covered short position. I wouldn't, if I was short, I guess you couldn't go short. But I wouldn't be going long until you see it definitely close up above the T-line. And PVG. Nothing of any great consequence on this chart. I would probably be someplace else. Etsy, just stay long. Look for a doji sandwich on a positive open tomorrow. Grub. That one you can get ready to buy. If it breaks out through this level, kind of got a little J-hook pattern, I would suspect that it's coming back up to test the highs. Yes, you can go long on this one. CNAT, nothing. Not until you see something confirming a strong buy signal. XWeb, another one, there's not any great resiliency on this chart. I would still be more apt to buy it up above that level. Adobe, nothing. If you were short, I would have covered the short today, but I wouldn't be long or short at this point. Did I do PCAR? Oh, I did PCAR. Yes, stay long. We did Nordstrom's, another one with that best friend. Notice where the best friend took you, right up through the resistance level. Just stay long until you see a sell signal. And for some reason, HZN does not come up on this system. I have no explanation for that. VIPS, another one that if you were short, you would have covered your short. If you're going long, you've watched to see what happens when it hits the T line. Therm, another one you can stay long. You can see how they support it here on the T line. Then you hit your left-right combo. You're back into the uptrend. Adobe really doesn't have any reversal signal. No, that's not a reversal signal. I see a lot of conversation in the chat room that this is one white soldier. And I've never seen one white soldier. I see somebody has it printed up as one white soldier, but all this really is an up day and a downtrend. Seems like a lot of Chinese stocks are starting to go up. Can this easily be disrupted by politics? That I don't know. But remember, candlestick charts are the accumulative knowledge of everybody buying and selling during a specific time frame. So if there's the prospect of politics coming in, people have already made their decisions based upon that potential. So you do what everybody's doing based upon their analysis, not trying to analyze it yourself. Intersat, you should be out of this one. You did have a bullish engulfing. You can get back in on positive trading. Yeah, a few more nights or a few more weeks of the summer. So enjoy it. That's what I was telling everybody at the lake, to savor those moments. The water, the weather, and everything were just absolutely great, which makes it hard when you're sitting here on a cold, wintry day thinking about the blue water of the lake. DFBG, you can be buying this one. Make sure the volume's good, but you can see how it's based. Now, if it opens positive tomorrow, your Doji Sandwich breakout is in progress. Is the bearish belt hold on Ralph Lauren? No, it's probably the target at this point. Now that the selling is over, I would suspect that's going to be your first target, which also looks like that area over there. All right, we still got some good upside in this market, even though it's not rampantly bullish. It's allowing the charts that are acting well to continue to act well. Oh, did somebody ask what the target was on Apple? I don't remember. Oh, Maria, I don't have a target other than if this is wave 1, this is wave 2. Wave 3 should bring you up into this area someplace, around 223, 225. Okay, everybody. Every night we have the nice, rich aroma of skunks. I've got to close all the doors. All right, everybody, have a good evening. We'll see you bright and early in the chat rooms.